You are listening to the Stop Binge Eating podcast with Kirstin Sarfde, episode number 11. Welcome to the Stop Binge Eating podcast. It's time for you to end your food obsession and begin feeling confident and in control around food. You are absolutely capable of eliminating binge eating from your life, and I'm going to show you how by giving you simple tools and insights that you can apply in your own life. I'm your host, Kirstin Sarfde. Now let's get to it. Hi, how are you? So I am really excited to do today's topic because it's one I hear people talk about all the time. It comes up quite often when I talk to people on mini sessions, which, by the way, have you signed up for yours yet? CoachKer.com/mini. Let's talk, my friend. When I asked them how they were feeling before they binged, so many of them say stressed. They tell me about what's going on in their life and how stressful it is and how they just needed a break to relax, and food calms them down. I was one of those people too. I was definitely not one of those I don't eat when I'm stressed people. I mean, I'm still not. My brain still tells me to eat when I'm stressed sometimes, but I'm now much better at managing it. But the times when I wasn't good at managing it were also the times when I worked in restaurants for many years, which of course is like the worst place for a binge eater to work, right? If you've worked in one, then you know that there is usually something available to be munched on for free. If a restaurant serves complimentary bread, it's going to be available for servers to grab. And boy, did I grab it. Whenever I'd feel too busy and stressed because it was such a fast-paced environment and pretty demanding as I had to deal with guest requests, coworkers, and managers. So once I had a free minute, I'd grab bread and head on over to wherever I was able to eat it. It was my minute to calm down, step away, and take my mind off of everything. Then, once my shift was over, I was hungry and tired, and again, just wanting something to soothe myself. I didn't care about refueling my body or setting myself up to feel better for the rest of the day or night. I deserved something comforting after that stressful shift I had. So I wanted to have something with French fries. And you know what? It was an extra challenging shift, so I was going to have dessert too. And I use these excuses to stress cope with food a lot, that I needed my bread break, that I needed comfort. And sometimes it wouldn't end there. A lot of the time, actually, it would all build up, choice after choice. And then on my way home, I might go get something else or more than one something else's. I just wanted to zone out with food and forget everything. One of the biggest problems you face with trying to not cope with stress by eating is that it does work. Eating when stressed does relax you when you feel stressed. I really did feel calmer during my bread break, and I was able to just zone out with food after work. When you eat, there are chemicals released in your brain, feel-good chemicals that enhance calmness and pleasure and relieve pain. You actually get what you're seeking, and this is why it's so hard to stop doing it. Now, there are, of course, other ways to release those chemicals in your brain, but eating to do it is your easy go-to quick fix. You hear about all these stress relievers like going for a walk, taking a bubble bath, yoga, exercise, and those all sound real great, but when I had 1 minute before I had to go greet a new table or process someone's payment at the restaurant, I didn't have time for any of that. I only had time to eat bread. And the truth was, I also didn't want to do something else. I wanted to eat. So the problem is, if you get what you want, why do something else? You get to eat the food and you get to calm down. But although you get that temporary relief from eating, you don't actually solve the stress. It's still there underneath. You're just ignoring it for a minute. And once you're done eating, it will be back. The work is still the same. The people are the same. The things asked of you are the same. And the time allotted to do it all is the same. And your desire to keep eating is the same or higher now. While you're eating, what you're actually doing, along with releasing those brain chemicals, is taking your focus off of your current circumstances and focusing on the food. You get to think about how delicious it tastes, how calm you feel, how you're getting a break, or just shut your mind off completely. And that's the thing you need to know. A big part of why you get that relief, that break and calmness for that minute is because you're changing your thoughts. While you're stressed, you're thinking, I have to do all the things, or there's not enough time to get this done, or this is a disaster. Then you're not thinking that way when you're eating. But once you get back into your work or life or wherever you are in that moment, those thoughts come right back. And you may have even added on some more stress if you start thinking about how you wish you hadn't just eaten or overeaten or binged. Most people find it hard to get out of stress because they think that they have to change what's going on around them in order to do it. They blame their circumstances for how they feel. But if you've been following along with me, you know that this is not the truth. Our circumstances never cause us to feel anything. Our thoughts about them do. No matter what's going on in your life, whether you have 20 things on your to-do list and then something urgent randomly pops up, or you have one thing that's taking up a lot of your mental space, it's your thinking about them that's going to make it stressful. I could tell you today that I have to prepare my podcast episode and record it, and I have a meeting, and I have 3 coaching sessions and 2 mini sessions, and I have to make time to eat, and I also have to make time for my own daily self-coaching and reply to emails. Does that sound stressful to you? If you listen to my tone, you might say it does. Or if you're someone who does the same or more than that in a day, or if you think your to-dos are more stressful than mine, then you may think it's no big deal. The truth is, what I just listed for you actually doesn't stress me out at all. If I were honestly explaining my day to you, I'd say, I'm going to prepare my podcast episode and record it. I have a meeting, 3 coaching sessions, 2 mini sessions, and I'm going to make time to eat and also time for my daily self-coaching and reply to some emails. What a difference, right? I don't think it's a big deal. It's just what I'm doing. But for some reason, people just love dramatizing their lives and making things out to be way more stressful than they need to be. It all comes down to perception. All the stress you feel, you are causing, which is really good to know because changing your circumstances isn't always possible. It would be really nice if we could just walk out of work or leave our responsibilities, but that's just not realistic. You have a job and household chores and errands and meals and unexpected things that pop up just like pretty much everyone does. And there's no changing that. All you can change is you. You don't have to run around all day thinking you have to get all this done and everything's not going to get done in time. And what's crazy about this is that almost all of the time, it does get done, all of it. You can either get it done while acting like a crazy person and ripping your hair out, or while being calm. It's all going to be fine. Now, I do want to say that when you feel yourself starting to get stressed, it's not always so easy as just telling yourself it's going to be fine and then you feel immediately better. But it's still important to direct your thinking this way anyway, because every little bit helps. You can either keep thinking stressful thoughts and compound your stress, or you can on purpose calm yourself down by neutralizing the situation and looking at the facts. The stress may not go away entirely, but it's going to feel a lot better than if you create more and more stress. And it's going to be much easier for you to feel the stress without eating. And that's what I want you to do here. Don't eat to relieve the stress, manage your thinking, and allow yourself to feel, just like how I've talked about allowing yourself to feel your urges to binge. There was a time not long ago when I was faced with a technical issue with a company I coach for a few hours a week. I didn't know what to do, and I was communicating via text with one of the company's directors, and I was kind of freaking out and afraid that the problem wasn't going to be solved quickly enough, and it was going to impact my schedule negatively. And then I stopped the nonsense. I felt my stress level rising. I knew I was feeling that way because of all the thoughts spinning around in my head and my concern for what was going to happen. And then I chose to think differently. I chose to believe that it would all work out fine and the director would help me sort out any issues. But here's the thing. Even though I shifted my thinking, the stress didn't go away right away. I still felt it in my chest and my heart was still beating harder than usual. So you know what I did? I let it be. I was watching TV. And I watched it while experiencing stress, and I was okay. Then, sure enough, that feeling finally went away. And of course, the tech and scheduling issues were resolved. All was good, and there was no stress eating or binging involved because there was no point in me doing that. Eating wouldn't have made the director work faster, nor would it have made communication between us go faster. What I did was I chose to feel the short-term discomfort to get the long-term satisfaction. That satisfaction came from knowing I chose to feel instead of eat. And yes, I still get proud of myself when I don't eat in those situations because I remember how habitual it was for me in the past for a long time. So always remember that you have the choice of how you want to deal with your stress. How I recommend is that you look at what's causing it, your thoughts, not your circumstances, and neutralize it with calming, rational thoughts, and then choose to feel it out. And this doesn't take a lot of time, just a few seconds, really, because again, I know you may not have time to go for a walk to clear your head, and you don't have to. It's just a quick pause to center yourself, bring awareness to what you're doing and what your options are. It's all going to be fine. You're going to figure it all out and get it all done. You can handle it. And those feel-good chemicals you're looking for from the food, there's other ways to get them. And there are ways that aren't going to keep you binging, overeating, and struggling with your weight. They're natural pleasures, including the stress relievers that I mentioned before that people are always recommending, and doing anything you enjoy that relaxes you or engages you. So I recommend as a stress preventer to begin incorporating some of those into your life, not just when you're stressed, but daily to prevent an increase in your stress. I personally love to just lay down, close my eyes, and breathe for a few minutes. So relaxing. Bring yourself to calm as often as you can. So, in conclusion, the reason why you feel stress is because of how you're thinking about your circumstances. So the way to lessen it is to change how you're thinking. Then the other important piece for not stress eating is to allow yourself to feel some stress without trying to suppress it. True relaxation comes from processing through the stress, not from continually avoiding it. So process, people, manage your thinking and process. Have a wonderful week. Bye-bye. Thank you for listening to the Stop Binge Eating podcast. If you like what you heard today and you want more, go to coachkir.com/free. That's COACHKIR.com/free to get some awesome free stuff to help you stop binge eating.